said that Gutfeld talks about you all the time.
Who is he? Really, who is he?
I don't watch the show.
He has a show.
I don't watch the show. Yeah.
I guess he's just obsessed with me.
No. Next, Joy's gonna say she's never heard of carbs.
The long-reigning Duchess of Daytime Sarcasm, perched confidently at the views table, flanked by applause and self-assurance. Then, like a bolt of dry lightning, Greg Gutfeld strolls in, smirking like a man who brought a scalpel to a butter knife fight. With one cutting remark, her on-camera glow dimmed just enough to catch the audience's attention. What happened wasn't just a gaffe, it was a moment where Joy's armor cracked under the precise weight of a challenger who came not to play, but to expose. Buckle up. This wasn't your average TV dust-up. It was a public unmasking with the elegance of a comedy duel and the tension of live-wire politics.
Maybe it's as believable as her red hair. But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch at Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named Ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. It now smells like a humid day inside Joy Behar's moo-moo. And the motives stink worse than Joy Behar's jog bra. I mean, assuming she jogs. Oh wait, there she is. She has a point. Maybe I am obsessed, but some people are obsessed with Bigfoot, and they don't get to see him on TV every hour.
Behar has built a legacy on sharp edges and sharper opinions. Her wit is legendary, her sides practiced, and her ability to steamroll through dissent honed over decades in the daytime coliseum. She doesn't just speak, she performs, commanding segments with theatrical flair and a self-assuredness that makes challengers think twice. But no matter how seasoned a performer, there's always a chance the script gets flipped. And on this fateful broadcast, Greg Gutfeld wasn't playing guest, he was playing chess, and Joy didn't realize she was the queen being.
Joy Behar accused Elon Musk of being pro-apartheid, but then begged him afterwards not to sue. Musk lawyers have yet to comment because they're still checking to see if it's legal to sue a cow. Shots fired. It's a legal question. I don't know why it's so upsetting. I don't make the rules in this country.
The Kokelkonk with them to put as if Greg Gutfeld is no stranger to verbal warfare. The man has made a career out of sarcastic grenades and strategic satire. He's not loud, he's lethal. His humor doesn't shout. It slices, slowly and without warning. Gutfeld doesn't need volume to win a moment, he needs timing, tone, and a twinkle of smirk that says, I already know how this ends. He showed up to The View not to banter, but to dissect with clinical precision, masked in comedy, a tactician in a sport built for shouting matches. Greg whispered, then
It's like, it's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Like, it's like here, let's look at this political oddity. You know, it's like, it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. Well, let me rephrase that. But The View is a victim of the sunk cost fallacy. You know, how can you now speak the truth when for years you've been telling lie after lie after lie? Now you're carrying this big bag of rocks around you because it's too harmful for their ego to admit that we really were dishonest. And they could be honest. All they would have to say is, look, we hate Trump so much we were willing to lie about Joe Biden because we felt he was preferable. We thought our lying and our cover-up was on your behalf. Just say that. You're still scum, but at least you're on.
Any other episode, the hosts were in control, the mood was light, and Joy was, as always, steering the ship. Then Greg made his entrance, calm and composed like a man arriving at a dinner party with a grenade in his pocket. Joy, confident and seasoned, welcomed the exchange with her usual bravado. But this wasn't a roast or a quick back, this was a scalpel to skin moment, where Greg poked at her recent claims with just enough sarcasm to seem civil until it wasn't. What unfolded felt less like daytime banter, and more like watching a balloon inch toward.
All monsters of The View say they've never heard of you-know-who. True, the show that makes mornings hell claim that my name doesn't ring a bell. It's time for
review on The View. Ugh.
Yeah, the witch's coven finally shows me some lovin'. Yesterday on The View, yours truly was the subject of conversation. Apparently the broads have no idea who I am, or so they say. Hit it.
Soft, teasing her with breezy jabs about recent headlines and some of Joy's more fiery moments, times when her passion overtook her precision. At first, it was comedy. Then it got colder. He began unraveling her arguments, not with bluster, but with biting control. The audience caught the shift, so did Joy. Her usual rhythm stumbled. Greg's challenge didn't come with volume, but with silence, the kind that wraps around the room after a mic drop. Suddenly, Joy was no longer directing traffic. She was in it. The more she tried to regain footing, the more his calm pushed her off balance. It was like watching a symphony conductor realize someone else had taken over the baton, and the orchestra had already shifted keys. Zero the trigger. A series of Joy's recent takes, bold and headline-ready, but lacking the backup Gutfeld loves to expose. Instead of laughing them off, Greg countered with quiet ferocity, dismantling each talking point with facts dressed in wit. His questions weren't loud, but they lingered. The tension on set shifted from entertainment to examination, and for once, Joy couldn't laugh it off. Her quips slowed. Her replies missed the mark. Her energy dimmed on dramatically, but noticeably. It was as if the live audience collectively leaned forward, sensing they were witnessing something rare. A giant blinking under pressure. For someone who thrives on never flinching, it was a televised pause that said, everything.
Republican presidential candidate Tim Scott dropped by the Furry Five earlier today, and I thought the U.S. had a distinct policy against torture. He took the opportunity to call them out over crap Joy Behar recently said about him, specifically that he doesn't get systemic racism, which is like saying Brian Stelter doesn't get Ben & Jerry's. But Joy Behar gets racism after all. She's been black on Halloween. Yeah. But Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. But that is convenient, right? It's like one of my aunts dies every time Brand kills.
This wasn't Joy losing her cool. It was more delicate, more revealing a quiet collapse of the mask worn in media combat. For a split second, viewers saw the real strain. The exhaustion that comes from constant performance. The pressure of being on for years. That moment barely, a breath long, landed harder than any joke. Greg hadn't embarrassed Joy with a zinger. He'd exposed the cost of constant confidence. His calmness highlighted her discomfort. And it wasn't about her intelligence or beliefs, it was about the toll of always being expected to win. When her comeback stalled and the silence hung in the air, it echoed louder than any monologue.
Sausage maker Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of pork sausage for possible contamination with plastic fibers. Fortunately, authorities were able to track all 42,000 pounds to a single location in New York City.
Mercy for stillness. Every word is content. Every pause becomes a meme. Every glance fuels debate. Joy has long thrived by turning emotion into performance, by never showing a crack. But Greg didn't challenge her with rage, he used control. That's what made it unsettling. He didn't provoke a meltdown, he caused a human moment. And in a world where authenticity is currency, that vulnerability sparked an internet firestorm. Social media split instantly. Clips of the exchange went viral. Some hailed Greg as a master of satirical takedown. Others sympathized with Joy for letting her guard down. Regardless of opinion, the moment was clear. Gutfeld disrupted the view and Joy wasn't ready.
Brains are small, but who's the dumbest one of all? True, none of them are in Mensa, but who's the most densa? Perhaps it's Sonny who mastered the art of making idiots look smart. Now The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass does.
It wasn't just about the clash, it was about what it revealed. This was a rare glimpse into the emotional fatigue behind performance personas. Joy's stumble wasn't a mistake, it was a message. A reminder that even the most practiced voices are human. Gutfeld didn't humiliate her with cruelty, simply brought contrast. His calm against her scramble, his composure against her faltering rhythm, and the result. A televised Rorschach test for viewers. Some saw triumph, others saw tragedy, but all saw something real. In a media culture obsessed with spin, That authenticity was more jarring than any.
I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Those hens are always clucking. They get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, and then I get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, except on purpose. But every now and then, one of those dingbats inadvertently says something that reveals modern liberal thought so perfectly it deserves further study. You know, like a weird serpent that washed up on the beach and you want to poke it with a...
And then came the backlasher. Was it celebration? The internet lit up with dueling narratives. Was this a masterclass in comedic restraint or a cruel public ambush? Did Greg go too far, or did he simply do what no one else on that set ever dared push back with polish? The debate exploded across platforms. Joy's supporters called it an unfair ambush, citing the pressure of live television. Fans claimed it was long overdue that someone finally brought logic to a shouting match. Late-night shows replayed it. Podcasts dissected it. Every pause became part of a broader conversation. When does humor cross into cruelty? When does confidence turn into collapse? And can
strategy on the behalf of The View to pretend we don't exist when we know they know we exist?
That's a brilliant idea. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Gutfeld. I'm sorry, not ringing the bell.
Usually at the airport.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. Huh? Really? I sit next to him? Really? No, this is what elitists do who can't, like, if you don't know who someone is, how did you know to automatically hate him? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that's how fake, full of she is. Gutfeld, never heard of him. Don't like him. Why? Because why? That's why I just turned to one of my kids. Because why?
Yeah.
Because I don't know who he is. Never heard of him at all in my entire life. But why? Because I don't know. Because they are the last TV show to talk about high turnover. Mm-hmm. We've been rolling 3 steady for a long time.
Yeah.
We don't take breaks in the commercial to get away from each other. Well, that's what the drinking's for.
Yes.
Joy found herself at a crossroads, applauded by some for her honesty, and criticized by others for losing control. She became both victim and symbol. Her moment wasn't just personal, it became political, cultural, and deeply public. The old footage resurfaced. The criticisms piled up, and suddenly, Joy Behar, the voice that once commanded rooms, was being questioned in ways she hadn't been in years. Meanwhile, Greg Gutfeld walked away with his reputation enhanced. The man who delivered a takedown without raising his voice, who didn't attack, just revealed. It wasn't a feud. It was a mirror, held up to the mechanics of modern media. And in that reflection, we saw more than just Joy or Greg. We saw the tension of performance, the danger of constant critique, and the quiet cost of never blinking. The moment may fade from headlines, but its echo lingers in every segment that follows. In every host who now double-checks their confidence, and in every viewer who saw what happens when quick wit meets its match.
Joy Behar talking about refusing to share a kidney.
I find my friends with a Trump supporter. I won't give them a kidney, but I could be friends with them.
Hey, Joy, it's a kidney, not a pizza. Of course, she's kidding at first, but then she goes on to explain the moral foundation for her resentment, and it's the same one that drives all deadly ideology.
Joy found herself at a crossroads, applauded by some for her honesty, and criticized by others for losing control. She became both victim and symbol. Her moment wasn't just personal, it became political, cultural, and deeply public. The old footage resurfaced. The criticisms piled up, and suddenly, Joy Behar, the voice that once commanded rooms, was being questioned in ways she hadn't been in years. Meanwhile, Greg Gutfeld walked away with his reputation enhanced. The man who delivered a takedown without raising his voice, who didn't attack, just revealed. It wasn't a feud. It was a mirror, held up to the mechanics of modern media. And in that reflection, we saw more than just Joy or Greg. We saw the tension of performance, the danger of constant critique, and the quiet cost of never blinking. The moment may fade from headlines, but its echo lingers in every segment that follows. In every host who now double-checks their confidence, and in every viewer who saw what happens when quick wit meets its match.